Our first guest on this week's show is in the midst of his 13th season at Notre Dame. Chad Klunder began his Notre Dame career as a graduate assistant coach working with the Irish offense back in 2003 and is now the Associate Athletics Director for Football Operations. Among his many duties, Klunder coordinates and oversees all day-to-day administrative and operational details for the football program, including team travel, budgets, and preseason camp. Before coming to Notre Dame, Chad served as the running backs coach and coordinator of football operations at Harvard. He also played a bit back in the day at Wartburg College in Waverly, Iowa, where he earned 4 letters, was twice a unanimous All-League pick, and earned honorable mention All-America honors. Take it away, Jack and Joe.
You know, Joe, I don't know what the analogy here is. I mean, it's like Jimmy Fallon scoring the President of the United States to come on the show. People think, you know, who's the guest you most want, Brian Kelly or Mike Bray? If you're around Notre Dame football, we got the guy.
It's Chad Klunder. It has to be. I don't know. You know, when I got the email, my hands immediately started to sweat and I was salivating. I've
been doing the show for 8 years. We haven't been able to get him. You've made this possible.
I think this is actually his first media appearance in 13 years, and I couldn't be more thrilled that it's with you and I. And wow, Chad, it's just such a pleasure to have you here.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here with both of you.
Chad, everybody who's around the program, we're kidding on the introduction, but everybody who's around the program knows it all runs through Chad. The operation in Notre Dame football happens because you make it happen. Give us a sense of the scope of the responsibilities. I mean, how do you manage the staff you manage? How do you deal with everything you have to do to make Notre Dame football work?
Well, Jack, that's pretty easy. Obviously, you've given us all the resources in the world to hire the best coaches and to have a staff that is large enough to operate at a highly efficient level. And, you know, most of all, with the exception of a few, we have a lot of great kids. So,
I see you looked at me when you said
No, I was just talking about the players in general.
Of course.
Yeah.
Continue.
No, but, you know, we have a great team over there in the Goog. We have, whether it's our equipment or sports medicine or strength and conditioning or nutrition, I mean, you've assembled a great staff and allowed us to function at a high level all of the time. We have all of the resources available to us at the university, and the leadership here with Brian Kelly and yourself really makes it just, I say it to everybody, I have the best job in the world.
Well, for those who are listening or watching, Chad's role is akin to a president of a professional sports franchise. I mean, he manages the budget, he manages staff, he gets us to away games and makes sure all that works.
He's a psychologist.
He is a
psychiatrist. He wears all the hats, really. Yeah. Chad, I know you came here as you were a coach, and I know we talked a little bit about this last year. You know, when I got injured, he came by, and this is just kind of the guy Chad is. He'll come by and he'll see guys when they're injured. So it's not just, you know, being the president at the top. He spends time with the guys, which is great. But I know you started as a coach, and you really relate well to people. You know, the guys on the team, they really love you. You know, it's almost a love-hate relationship, which is so fun. But you know, how did you kind of transition rather from this, you know, this position coach into the role you are now? And it seems like such a different responsibility, and just kind of how did you get from there to here?
Well, I started as a coach, as you know, and then I worked my way up to Harvard, where I coached the running backs, but at a smaller university. Or a lesser football university, you have many hats that you have to wear, so that every coach had an auxiliary function. And so mine was, I was the coordinator of football operations. I handled all of the travel, I handled the budget, I handled the meals. So that I really wanted to be a football coach. That was my goal, and my goal was always coming from a small school to work my way up to a larger university, which I was very fortunate when Tyrone Willingham hired me to be a graduate assistant coming off his great first year. And then things weren't so great the next couple years, and Tyrone was let go. And because of my experience and because of some relationships that I had in New England, I had the opportunity to stay on with Charlie Weiss. But Charlie couldn't hire me as a position coach. I didn't have enough experience, so he offered me the opportunity to be the director of football operations. And I spent 5 years with Charlie, and he gave me a great opportunity and allowed me to do a lot of things. And I really developed a love for the administrative portion because of the opportunities he gave me, because I have the opportunity to be in a locker room, because I have an opportunity to be involved with and have an in-depth knowledge of what's going on in the program from a personnel standpoint, from a scheme standpoint. Yet I had the administrative functions that I was given, and I really enjoyed those as well because of the people outside of the football office that I got to meet. And then there were a few players that I liked as well. It is a love-hate relationship for sure.
Do you ever miss being doing the X's and O's, doing scheming and that kind of stuff?
I did. I don't miss it as much as I used to. I think it's probably a product of because I love what I do so much, and because I have an opportunity to be around some great coaches, and I know that they do a much better job than I could ever do.
That's probably right.
You're exactly right. I mean, we've hired great coaches, and I love being in the locker room, and so I don't think I would trade my job for anything else at this time. Until you leave.
You and I get to work together on a host of things, on the administrative side, but maybe one of the things we spend most of our time on is the Rubik's Cube that is the Notre Dame football schedule. What's that like, trying to knit that together?
Well, it's very easy here. I mean, it's very easy at Notre Dame because everybody will take your phone call. So that portion of it's easy. But trying to find the best balance, you're the pro at this with the college football playoff, and to find the teams that you think are going to be good in 2019 to schedule so that you have your A teams and you have your B teams and you have a good balance between your home and away. It's incredibly rewarding to see some of the games come together and to be able to play Ohio State and to play some of these rivalries that we've always wanted to be involved with, and to have the ability to have those conversations and seek your approval and fit them into a plan that Brian Kelly is excited about. So it's not easy, but it is fun, and it's kind of like recruiting. Everybody will take your call, and everybody will listen, and everybody wants to make the game happen. So that makes it very easy.
And I assume you develop a pretty well-known network of Chad Klunders. I mean, the guys in the other programs, you must have a pretty good working relationship with them.
Yeah, I have a lot of great counterparts out there, and I think that everybody within the football subdivision is very accommodating and helpful. And once again, I'll say it, I can't say it enough, is they'll all take your phone call, and they'll always be great colleagues and great to provide answers to me when I have questions and to bounce things off of, and we get calls, how do we do things?
Right.
And we try to be good partners in that as well.
So the thing that most interests me about, we just played Navy, and with the scheduling conflicts that we now have with, the 5 ACC games, and we're always going to play, the USCs and the Stanfords and Navy, how do you fit in, like a team like Navy just coming off of that game? It makes me think, like, what do you do? Like, how do you decide what day to go on? And is it a challenge each and every year? Do you have to change the day or the game in which we play them? It just seems like a tough deal to do.
Well, as Jack knows, we are still playing games that former coaches and athletic directors scheduled. Mm-hmm. So we are scheduling for the people that will be here long after we are gone, which is fun. And I'll look back when my time is through here and know that we had a part in that game. For example, before the Texas game, Bill Scholl called me and reminded me that he was the one that scheduled that. At the time, it was not a good reminder, but it ended up being a favorable result.
Yeah.
So, but it's all, as Jack said, a Rubik's Cube. We're trying to find the best balance. We're trying to find the best rhythm. We're trying to give the team the best opportunity to win as many games as possible.
Another balancing act we engage in regularly is we're in a hyper-competitive world in college football, and trying to keep up with the Joneses, but still make decisions that make sense for Notre Dame. That's got to be a central part to what you're doing every day.
Yeah, I mean, we want our student athletes to have the best of the best and the resources to win football games. You know, it starts with the leadership and the coaching staff, and then obviously it's the facilities. And I think we always try to make decisions based on what will help us win football games, and not try to make frivolous, decisions that are fly by the night and that won't change the complexion of our ability to perform high on the football field. So some things, as Jack knows, they cost money. It costs money to run an operation at this level, and Father Jenkins and Jack and Tom Nevela and our business with John Affleck Graves has provided us the resources to be able to do that. And I think, Joe, you see that every day when you
definitely
walk into the Goog and you see the fuel station or the coaches that you work with or the gear and the Under Armour and everything. I mean, we have an incredible opportunity every day that we walk into that building.
Yeah, really, to reiterate what Chad's saying for those that are listening, I don't think there's a football program in America that has a better day-to-day life than the student athletes at Notre Dame or the football players at Notre Dame, and really it's probably the two guys sitting next to me that I can thank for them. So I'll thank you guys for everybody that isn't here with us. Another thing I want to ask you about is kind of road trips. I know you schedule where we stay, and we've actually been able to stay in some really nice places. So thank you, Chad.
Well, you should see his Marriott points.
So is that what it's all about? You get all the points.
I will thank my wife for this, because she is a hotel snob, and she admits to that. Our life we've been very fortunate to stay at some very nice places, and I think her lifestyle is a carryover that you're rewarded by.
Perfect.
Because
so really, it's Mrs. Klunder that I need to thank.
You need to thank Lisa, yes.
As we wrap this up, I must say, in addition to that point, since my boss may be listening, we're also able to negotiate really good deals at these places, and part of it because it is Notre Dame.
Absolutely.
And, again, it's another group of people who take our calls. But, we have found out that when you reach out and engage in those negotiations, you can stay at a good place for about what you can stay at a not so good place. And so anything for Joe Schmidt is sort of the attitude we take here, right?
Well, we consult him with every decision that's made within the program, obviously.
Of course, really.
So
as you should.
Absolutely. I mean, why wouldn't we? I mean, you didn't consult us on where to park today, obviously. So
No.
I hope your car's there at the end of the show.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
We can only pray.
It's a slender hope, let me tell you. Chad, thanks so much for being with us today. I know this wasn't the thing you were most looking forward to do today, but we were thrilled to have you on. Thanks a bunch.
I appreciate you guys having me. Everybody buy the book when it comes out. I'm excited to write that when the career comes to an end.
You're fired, Chad.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a minute.